And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We have got a great show for you. But first I want to tell you, if you hear a little background noise, we've got some maintenance work going on just outside the studio here. We can't already help that, but hopefully it won't bother you too much. But right now, I want to let you know that on today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Now, on today's special segment, we're going to be with John Matthews, and John and I are going to be talking or doing our regular simulcast on the Conservative Syndicate. And also later on this afternoon will be John Hanson, that little old wine drinker. He'll be here to talk about food and wine. But right now, I want you to know that at 3:01 p.m. Pacific time, it is currently 64 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? I want to give you the news, the 10 things that you need to know for today, Monday. This is your daily look at late breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that will be talked about all day today and tomorrow. And first up, is extremists kill 14 civilians, 2 special forces in Ivory Coast. Armed men attacked a beach resort, killing at least 16 people in an attack claimed by Al-Qaeda's North Africa branch. And a car bomb in Turkey's capital kills 34 and wounds 125. You know, a suicide car bomb went off near bus stops in the heart of Turkey's capital, killing at least 34 people and wounding around 125 others, officials said. And which GOP hopeful stands by his remarks? Well, guess who? Republican frontrunner Donald Trump will not back down from his antagonistic campaign rhetoric, rejecting responsibility for violence at his rallies. And how severe weather in 2 states damages thousands of homes. Widespread flooding from rain-filled rivers in Louisiana and Mississippi swamps nearly 5,000 homes. Think about it. Boy, it's just getting worse and worse. But of course, you know, there's no global warming, right? How about this? U.S. envoy meets Europe's top diplomats. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry calls for the resumption of Syria peace talks in Geneva following a meeting with France's new foreign minister and other senior European diplomats. And who was a surprising number 1 on Selection Sunday? Oregon receives the number 1 seed for the NCAA tournament, joining Kansas, North Carolina, and Virginia with top billing. And many state legislatures exempt themselves from record laws. Some lawmakers fear that releasing the records could invade the privacy of citizens, creating a chilling effect on the right of people to petition their government. And why Europe's views on migrants are shifting. The refrain of Europe's migrant crisis has changed from welcome to enough already due to endless waves of asylum seekers. Well, trouble remains following failed for-profit schools revival. An Associated Press review of Corinthian Colleges Incorporated operations press shows that despite oversight by the Obama administration, the business model for what had been a failing chain of career training schools hasn't fundamentally changed. And then finally, competitors head toward the finish line in Alaska's dog race, the Iditarod. Mushers press their dog sled teams toward the end of Alaska's famous Iditarod after a snowmobiler intentionally rammed into 2 top competitors, killing 1 dog and injuring others, authorities said. You know what? Just doesn't that just make you sick? This is what's going on. Just does me anyway. Well, let's get into a little bit more in-depth. The 2016 race barrels forward, potentially decisive primary day. You know, the tumultuous presidential primary season barreled toward a potentially decisive day for both Republicans and Democrats, with enough delegates up for grabs today to turn Donald Trump, or up for grabs tomorrow, actually, Tuesday, to turn Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton from frontrunners to likely nominees. The biggest prizes are Florida and Ohio, states with a long history of making or breaking White House aspirations. Missouri, Illinois, and North Carolina also offer a crucial catch of delegates that could help Trump and Clinton pull further away from their rivals. Ohio Governor John Kasich and Florida Senator Marco Rubio hoped the 2 big states would give them a boost instead. Kasich seemed to have a better chance at that than Rubio. The The contests come at a remarkable moment in the presidential race for Republicans. Animosity toward Trump has risen to the point where he can rarely get through an event without being interrupted by protesters. The frontrunner is also under scrutiny for appearing to encourage his supporters to physically confront those protesters, deepening divisions within the Republican Party. Well, you know what? How much of this is impromptu and how much of this is pre-planned? I'm beginning to wonder myself. And I'm not saying pre-planned by Trump. I'm just wondering if some of these protesters and these people that are getting in the way aren't being sent there by the other campaigns to disrupt Trump. You know what? It just seems to me that this is going nuts. Well, a Breitbart reporter involved in Donald Trump incident resigns. The Breitbart news reporter, allegedly roughed up last week at a Donald Trump press conference, has resigned from the conservative website, saying that he can't work for an organization that doesn't support her, and 3 other news employees followed her out the door. Michelle Fields, who said that she was grabbed by Trump campaign manager Corey Lewinsky as she attempted to question the candidate last Tuesday in Florida, was joined in her resignation by Breitbart editors Ben Shapiro and Jarrett Stepman, along with national security correspondent Jordan Sachetel, I think it is. Now, police in Jupiter, Florida, said on Monday or today, their investigation of the incident is ongoing. No charges have been filed. Now, Lewandowski has denied the allegation. Trump told CNN that the incident, also witnessed by a reporter from the Washington Post, was probably made up. After initially publishing Fields' account, Breitbart posted a story doubting its own reporter, saying the likeliest explanation is that Fields was grabbed by a security officer, not Lewandowski. Makes a little more sense to me, doesn't it? Somebody's looking for their 15 minutes of fame. That's what I think it is anyway. Well, Putin orders the start of a Russian military pullout from Syria. Man, that sounds like good news, right? President Vladimir Putin ordered the Russian military to withdraw most of its forces from Syria, timing his move to the launch of Syria peace talks on today, an end game that allows the Russian leader to cash in on his gains and reduce his risks in the conflict. The start of the negotiations in Geneva offers Putin an opportune moment to declare an official end to the 5.5-month Russian air campaign that has allowed Syrian President Bashar Assad's army to win back some key ground and strengthen its positions ahead of the talks. With Russia's main goals in Syria achieved, the pullback will allow Putin to pose as a peacemaker and help ease tensions with NATO member Turkey and the Gulf monarchies vexed by Moscow's military action. You know, at the same time, Putin made it clear that Russia will maintain its air base and a naval facility in Syria and keep some troops there. Syria's state news agency also quoted Assad as saying that the Russian military will draw down its air force contingent but won't leave the country altogether. Now, don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to talk about a Maryland police officer. He was killed by a friendly fire in an ambush, and I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. So please, don't go away. We got some good stuff for you.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And you know what? We're talking news. And as I told you before we went on our commercial break, this is about a Maryland police officer. The officer was killed by friendly fire in an ambush. This came in just 11 minutes ago. An undercover police officer was killed by his own colleagues' fire as he responded to the ambush of his police station by a gunman with a death wish, a police chief said today. While Officer Kai Colson lay mortally wounded Sunday, the gunman's two brothers coldly recorded the firefight. Prince George's County Police Chief Hank Stawinski said angrily, tapping a podium as he provided the first details of the gun battle. The gunman had been spraying bullets, hitting cars, and even an ambulance to draw officers outside the station. Colson also responded, jumping out of an unmarked car and wearing civilian clothes without body armor, the chief said. In the confusion, despite their restraint, one of the other officers' bullets hit Colson, the chief said. Now, Colson demonstrated extreme heroism because he drew fire to himself and in doing so was mortally wounded, the chief said. Colson was declared dead later in a hospital. The gunman, identified as Michael Ford, was expected to survive. His brothers Malik and Elijah Ford also were taken into custody and will face dozens of charges between them, the chief said. Now, you know what? One of the things is they'll probably get charged with murder of that officer since he died in the line of duty trying to bring them under control. Well, how about this? Disorder at Trump rallies as American as cherry pie. Yeah. Even before the presidential candidate arrived at the rally, the arena seethed. Fist fights broke out as the national anthem played. Now, supporters tore up demonstrators' signs, beat them with sticks, pummeled them with folding chairs. The year was 1968. Actually, the candidate, Alabama Governor George Wallace. If you're struggling with feelings of deja vu, you're not alone. The recent dark turn of the 2016 presidential campaign, the ugly scuffles and confrontations at Donald Trump's rallies has brought back memories of the turmoil of the 1960s and fueled fears that America is careening into a similarly angry and violent era. Will it happen? There's no way of really knowing. Some note this is a different time when Wallace climbed the stage of Detroit's Cobo Arena on October 29, 1968. College campuses were exploding. American cities were in rubble, and Wallace's incendiary words were just some of many, many angry words of that era. As contentious as our times may seem, they're not that bad yet. But protesters drawn by Trump's positions against immigrants and Muslims have been rejected from his allies. One North Carolina man was charged with assault after he was caught on video hitting a man being led out by deputies at the event in Fayetteville. Trump says he does not encourage violence. The fault, he says, lies with the demonstrators. In fact, if you take the long view, what's happening is not all that unusual. Politics and violence have been mated since the Republic's earliest days. It was Black Power activist H. Rap Brown, now serving a life sentence in the 2000 murder of a sheriff's deputy, who said violence is as American as cherry pie. Other more reputable observers agree with that. You know what? Do you really think that justifies this? I don't think so. It may be expected from time to time, but can't we just act like human beings, for Pete's sake? Well, here's more bad news. An Amtrak train derails in Kansas, injuring at least 32 people. An Amtrak train carrying more than 140 people derailed in rural Kansas early Monday, moments after an engineer noticed a significant bend in a rail and applied the emergency brakes, an official said. At least 32 people were hurt, 2 of them critically, authorities said. Hours later, investigators said they were checking whether a vehicle crash may have damaged the track before the accident. The train, known as the Southwest Chief, was apparently traveling at about 75 miles per hour when the engineer noticed the deformity in the rail and pulled the brakes, a U.S. official told the Associated Press. The official spoke on the condition of anonymity because that person was not authorized to speak publicly about the federal investigation. Wow. You know, the train, which had 131 passengers and 14 crew members, was making a 43-hour journey from Los Angeles to Chicago when it derailed shortly after midnight along a straight stretch of tracks in flat farmland near Cimarron, a small community about 160 miles west of Wichita. 8 cars derailed, and 4 of them ended up on their sides. Wow. That's just sad, you know. But that's an accident. That's not some idiot, you know, that just doesn't like your politics. How about this? Palestinian and American IS fighter surrenders to Iraqi Kurds. Yep, heard me right. A 26-year-old man fighting with the Islamic State group gave himself up to Iraqi Kurdish forces in northern Iraq today, and when he asked, said he is a Palestinian from the United States. His driving license, posted on social media, had Alexandria, Virginia as his home address, and though U.S. authorities have yet to confirm whether he is an American citizen, the incident marked a rare voluntary surrender in Iraq of a militant fighting with the extremist group. The IS fighter had been lurking near the Peshmerga line since late Sunday night, according to Major General Faisal Helkani of the Iraq Kurdish Peshmerga forces, who play a key role, along with the Iraqi military and Shiite militia forces, in battling the IS extremists. Helkani said his troops first tried to shoot the man, assuming he was a would-be suicide bomber. Yeah. You know, who knows anymore what anything is, for that matter? Well, let me leave you with this. Al-Qaeda focuses attention on soft targets in West Africa. The attack on an Ivory Coast beach resort by an Al-Qaeda affiliate is the latest sign it is shifting its focus to soft targets associated with foreigners in an effort to destabilize economies and gain the group credibility among jihadis in its rivalry with the so-called Islamic State group. The 3 gunmen who burst into the Grand Bassam beach resort and killed 18 people were part of an Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, a group that grew out of the Algerian Civil War in the 1990s and used to restrict itself to operations deep in the desert, hundreds of miles away. Well, if you find me kind of stumbling over some of this stuff, it's because it's this noise that's going on with this maintenance outside the studio window is driving me absolutely nuts, and is very, very distracting. In any event, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the IRS loses. First case up is a never profitable business actually had a profit motive, and I'm going to tell you about it right after these brief messages, so please don't go away. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh, yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. And you know what? Let's get right to it. The first case up, as I mentioned before, is a never profitable business had a profit motive. Here's the case. A corporate executive whose family loved horses bought a farm and used it to run a business boarding horses, but it lost money for 8 years, ranging from $36,000 to $94,000 annually over that time, until he decided to sell the farm. He deducted all the losses against his regular income, but the IRS disallowed the deductions, saying he never had a profit motive in running the farm. He went to court for some justice. This is what the judge actually had to say. The executive actually did board horses at commercial rates, hired employees to tend to the horses, worked every weekend on the farm himself, kept full business records, and had a credible business plan. This all indicated that he did have a profit motive, so the deductions were absolutely allowed. You got to love this. It sends chills up and down my spine. Well, here's another case the IRS lost. A company's houseboat and dock not taxed to its owner. Sounds a little strange, but listen to this. Daniel Reeves owned VMI Incorporated, a small operating business. Now, he bought a house on a lake and then behind it built a houseboat floating garage to hold a boat and jet skis and dock. He paid $81,000 of the cost. VMI paid $187,000, and they were co-owners. VMI used the houseboat facilities for business meetings but failed to keep records of business use, so it lost its deductions for him. The IRS then treated VMI's share of the cost of the facilities as a taxable dividend to Reeves. Here's what the court said. Reeves's payment of $81,000 entitled him to use the facilities, and the IRS hadn't shown that he had done so excessively. So no dividend is proved. And that way, by the way, the reason that's important, you've heard us talk about double taxation. That's what the IRS is trying to do here. Get to tax the guy twice. How about this? The IRS loses. Disability insurance benefits are tax-free. Here's the case. Richard Kotler owned his own business, which had a group disability insurance policy that covered him. He later became disabled, closed his firm, and filed for disability. He said that the disability payments were tax-free, but the IRS said that they were taxable to him because his firm paid the premiums for him. He hadn't paid them personally. He went to court, and this is what the judge said. Now, to keep the firm from improperly paying his personal expenses, Kotler had annually reimbursed the company for all personal items that it had paid on his behalf by deducting the amount of the expenses from other amounts the firm owed him. He included the premiums in these items, so he had, in fact, paid them himself, making his benefits, tax-free. And that's, you know what? Just the IRS one more time trying to get into your pocket. You know what? Speaking of the IRS, you've heard me talk about it many times, wanting to be a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff. So we're at right now with this segment we call Inside the IRS. It's a little bit like the Twilight Zone. Oh yeah. Now here's our first case with I was going to say with the Twilight Zone, but in this particular segment, poorly executed estate tax plan is targeted by the IRS. You know, a cautionary tale is what this is. Professional advice was obtained in an effort to save estate tax, and as a result, a family limited partnership, or FLP, was formed. Now, here's the big problem. Real property was not transferred into the family limited partnership until 2 days before the taxpayer actually died. The IRS contended that the decedent hadn't retained the economic benefit of the assets transferred to the trust, and so the value of the real estate and other assets of the family limited partnership were therefore included in her taxable estate. Now, the best defense when setting up your own family limited partnership is make sure that it is established for a legitimate and significant non-tax reason. Then follow all applicable rules for making sure that the integrity of the family limited partnership will be respected by the IRS. Well, let's give you one more here. How about beware of legal advice from sellers of tax shelters? A lawyer in Louisiana was held responsible for his part in promoting a tax shelter investments that he knew, or at least should have known, were illegal. The lawyer engaged in wire and mail fraud as part of a scheme to generate exorbitant fees by selling phony tax shelters. The defrauded investors paid more than $1 million in fees for the privilege of investing in the illegal tax shelter. Now, here's the thing. The self-defense on this is, do not ever, ever, ever trust the advice of a lawyer who also stands to profit from your investment. Always seek independent counsel not associated with the transaction. That is the very least we call due diligence that you should do. You know what? Don't get yourself into a situation where you know there's a conflict of interest. You know what? It's not that all lawyers are bad, but you should never get involved in anything that a lawyer sells you that he's going to benefit by. always get someone that is not interested, a third party, somebody to advise you that is not going to get gain from this. That's where you really got to be with it. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to be doing our simulcast with John Matthews. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Donald Trump is what's foremost on our minds today, but we'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the basement of his strategic planning room located at his political hideaway in Los Angeles County, the dedicated man who stands and serves the political conscience of our nation, Mr. John Matthews.
And before we bring John in here, I want you to know that at 3:33 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 65 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. And if you're listening to us on our global syndicated network and you're in New York City, well, it's 41 degrees and overcast. And if you're in Chicago, Illinois, well, it's 50 degrees and overcast. You know what? People from all over the world are listening to us, and it's just kind of a fun thing to let them know what the weather is in their particular area. Now we're waiting for John Matthews to call in. We're doing our simulcast. We do that every Monday and Friday with John with the Conservative Syndicate. It's an interesting part of what's going on. We get a whole new twist on what's going on in conservative politics, or what's going on in politics particularly, we're going to have a conversation today, certainly about Donald Trump and the troubles that were going on in Chicago and the maneuvering that's going on with that and some of the stuff that's going on in the Democratic race. I can't hardly wait. John's got his own twist on this. We'll see what he has to say. We'll try and add to it if we can. Sometimes I agree with John, sometimes I don't. But generally, he's right on the money with a lot of the stuff that he does. He's got a tremendous insight to what goes on in politics, and I look forward to listening to him. Like I say, I don't always agree with him. I'm sure you don't always agree with me. So that's kind of what goes on when we're doing these kinds of things. At any event, John is due to call in any second now. I'm sure that he's probably ending his own commercial break, and then he'll give us a buzz. Here he is now. Let's get John in here. Hey, John, are you with us? Hey, John, you with us?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm sorry?
I say I'm doing well. How are you doing?
All right, I'm just trying to get you dialed in here on the volume here.
Okay. You know what? I was just telling everybody we do this simulcast every Monday and Friday with John. Generally, Joe Hakis, his partner, is with us as well. Joe is recovering from surgery, I'm sure, today. And John's always got interesting things to tell us and an interesting perspective on what's going on in politics, both from the liberal side and the conservative side. So you got the volume going okay now, John?
Well, I have some mixed feelings about what it took place over the last few days at these Trump rallies.
I think it was all a setup.
Yeah, it is so indicative and so demonstrative of what this current administration has brought to the table in terms of these Sal Alinsky tactics. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is what we see here is people gathering to go into a rally at a Donald Trump rally and with the intent of disrupting the rally. And then when people at the rally who support Donald Trump respond to that, all of a sudden the people that are the instigators are the victims, and the people that are basically being the victims are now the instigators.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you know what? You see the same thing I see. I think it's all set up. It's another maneuver by the Democrats to discredit the Republicans and the conservatives. I'm not sure, however, if it's Hillary Clinton, or if it's Sanders, or if it's Cruz or Rubio. I mean, I'm not sure who's actually pulling this thing off to try and get Trump out of there.
Well, what I opened my show with today is talking about how we have on both sides of the political aisle allowed ourselves over the last 20, 30 years, and even more so with this administration, to allow ourselves to be convinced or to swallow the myth of the narrative that it's okay to disobey the law and disregard the law if you feel like you're being disenfranchised. On the other side, on the right, I guess what bothers me about the narrative is that both sides have bought into the idea that it is government's responsibility to take care of everything that's wrong with the world. And if the government isn't doing that, then those on the left will say, well, the government isn't doing it because the people on the right are obstructing it. And the people on the right are saying, well, it's not that we're obstructing, it's that we just want to do it our way instead of letting you do it your way. And so what we have here, I was very incensed. I'll tell you what I'm the most incensed about is Ted Cruz coming out and condemning Donald Trump for promoting violence, when in fact the answer is that what's going on here is this Black Lives Matter organization, which I said when it first came out, I said, this is nothing more than another community organizing institution that's being exploited by Barack Obama. MoveOn.org was Barack Obama's key campaign people during his 2008 election. And they have now gone over to Bernie Sanders. Most of these people that were arrested, the ones that were leading the assaults, and they're coming out, all Bernie Sanders supporters.
Yeah.
So this idea of what I've been doing is pointing to the parallels between what took place last week and what you and I remember about the 1968 Democratic Convention.
Oh yeah.
Much more, yes, but actually resulted in the death of one person and 589 arrests, over 215 injuries to police officers and civilians, and the death of a 17-year-old who was out after curfew. And when he was pulled over, he pulled a gun on an officer, and the officer shot him. This was led by people like Abby Hoffman, who was leading the college crowd, Jerry Rubin leading the college crowd, the youth, the international youth movement, the Yippie movement. And they were out there demonstrating. They had the anti-Vietnam people out there. And this thing escalated into all these riots and everything. But there were community organizations in college campuses, just like Black Lives Matter.
Yep.
And it just escalated out of control.
You know what? I mean, there's a part of me that just thinks that this whole thing has been orchestrated from the beginning, and I'm not necessarily saying that the perpetrators did it. I think that the organizers on all sides, set this thing up to happen. I mean, it just seems to me that it's ironic that with all the rhetoric that's going on, that Trump seems to be the focus here. And would he be the focus if it weren't that the establishment does not want him to be a Republican nominee? Would he be the focus if the Democrats weren't kind of afraid of him running against them?
Well, Trump is a textbook example of what liberals dream about. A guy that will get up there and speak his mind and not care about the consequences of what he's saying. And the situation, this is the problem, and this is why I think it has escalated the way it is. And I agree with you 100%. This is not the common person out there wanting to voice their frustration.
No.
The people that make up this organization, Black Lives Matter, I would imagine in their mind have a justifiable cause for which they're driving to. But what they never seem to see, and we make the same mistake on the right, is that they never seem to catch on that they're being exploited by the professional community organizers and the professional activists who take something like this and say, oh, wow, we have another avenue.
Yeah.
And we can make money off of this. That's what it's all about. It's about money.
Oh, yeah, they're being led right to the trough. Actually, being led right to the slaughter, I should say.
I'm sorry?
I say they're being led right to the slaughter. Oh,
yeah, they are. They are. And all it will do is it will continue to magnify and multiply the division that we already have in the country. And that is the intent. When you study, if you really take the time, and people should do this just for the sake of understanding it, you read Sal Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. It's an easy read. It's less than 200 pages, a small paperback. You can read it in a couple hours. And you'll see that the whole idea behind all this stuff, and this is what's going on with Trump right now, is you locate a target, you isolate that target, and you demonize that target, and then that's who you go after. And in the process of doing it, you utilize tactics that are, in Sal Alinsky's words, fun for the demonstrators and the protesters. What's more fun than burning things down and tearing things up?
Yep.
So, and it's all to bring about a type of revolution. And they call it political, it's political participation, but that's not what it is. It's the idea that we're going to silence anybody who opposes us, and we're going to create such havoc that people won't want to oppose us, and then we have the narrative, and then everybody just falls in line and follows it. And that's what's going on here. That's what's going on. That's why we have a Congress that won't do anything, because they have bought into the narrative that if they do anything, they're going to be targeted, isolated, and then people are going to come after them.
Yeah.
And got the Senate, Republican Senate right now, they're so scared to do anything because they're afraid they might lose an election.
Yeah, you know what? Wouldn't it be refreshing if they would just do their job and not worry about losing the election? Because if they did their job, they wouldn't have to worry about losing the election. They'd be reelected.
Yeah, well, who wants to do their job when you can sit around on your duff and draw $300,000 a year by doing nothing?
Oh yeah. You know what? It was interesting that I was listening to Rubio the other day, and he was saying something about that Trump can't do the job, and Cruz can't do the job, and Casey can't do the job. And I'm thinking to myself, well, let's listen to this idiot. He's not doing the job. He's been elected. He's collecting a paycheck, and he doesn't even show up for the votes.
Yeah, well, that's to Rubio's demise. I think Rubio came into the Senate knowing he was going to go straight from there and try it for the presidency, and so it was just a stepping stone for him.
Well, yeah, but what happened? He says, well, I don't like this job, right? That's how he feels about the Senate. I don't like this job, so he's not doing it. What happens if he actually gets elected president and decides, hey, I don't like this job?
Yeah, well, that ain't going to happen. But
yeah, I know.
That's a good question. That's a good question because it's obvious that he did. It's not happening fast enough for him.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I think Rubio is more of a liberal than he is a Republican because of the fact that it just isn't happening fast enough for him. He doesn't like being in the Senate because he has to adhere to protocol. And he doesn't want to do that. This new generation, I want it now, and I want it now.
Okay, hey, John, we got to take a break. We'll be back. You're going to call me back right after your commercial break, okay?
All right. Okay, guys.
All right, guys, we're going to go on a commercial break. We'll be right back with John Matthews and the Conservative Syndicate after these brief messages.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has
in the syndicated conservative syndicate. I'm sorry, John, I got a little mixed up. I totally forgot you were calling back in, and I was watching my my commercial time lag.
I'm sorry, say that again, Bob.
I screwed up. That's what I was making an excuse because I screwed up, John.
Well, I'm sitting here once again, trying to dial you in. Are you moving away from your microphone?
No, you can't. I'm talking right into it. You can't hear me, John?
Yeah. Okay. Now, yeah, your volume's going in and out. But that's okay.
Okay. I can hear you okay. I hear a buzz in the background. If that's any help to you, but basically, I can hear you well.
Well, that's a possibility here. I'm actually having to manipulate sound all day today manually because of some issue here, but I'm just trying to cope with it the best I can here.
Boy, I hear that. You know what? It's so frustrating. You know, earlier today, when I started my broadcast, there was some maintenance guy outside the studio window here, and all of a sudden there was this god awful noise going on, and there was no way I could get it to stop. And I thought, you know, this is going to be frustrating, and it was very distracting. Couldn't get anything done. Of course, you know, I've had plenty of technical problems as well. You're my go-to guy when I have a technical problem. Unfortunately, I don't know who your go-to guy is except you.
Well, we fired our lawn care guy because he's always coming on right in the middle of my show, and I'm in the backyard here with one of these blowers, you know, that have a Hemi engine in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, we were talking about, you know, are we just being led down the rosy path because all these politicians are convinced that we're fools and we're going to do whatever they want us to do?
Well, you know what? You know, a couple of comments here. If I can just kind of ramble around a little bit.
Yeah.
The central point here. I think it's one of the things that's very telling right now in terms of what's going on with these disruptions of rallies is the absence of Barack Obama. We've not heard anything out of this guy in a couple of weeks now. And I think that's very telling because some of these organizations, like I said, Black Lives Matter is being mentored by MoveOn.org, which is a key organization for Barack Obama. The only other organization that's bigger than that is Organizing for America, which was his actual campaign when he ran in 2008, 2012. MoveOn.org is a branch of that. La Raza is another key player in the Chicago thing, and La Raza was an organization that Barack Obama, as a community organizer, was very active with. He did some pro bono work for them. So and the fact that what he's doing now is he's just kind of hanging back. So you don't hear anything from him at all. You're not hearing his comments. You're not. Normally, this guy is involved in everything from March Madness and the college basketball thing to, you know, if the sun is coming up early enough in the morning and all of a sudden he's absent, you know, he's not around. And then to me, that's very telling that everything as far as Barack Obama goes is protecting his legacy at this point. On the other side, the Republicans, I saw this morning, I was wondering what Mitt Romney was up to, you know, when he came out a couple of weeks ago against Donald Trump. Mitt Romney's out on the campaign trail campaigning for John Kasich right now.
Right.
So what we have here is now we know who the establishment really wants as president. Rubio is kind of imploded. And so I'm thinking what the establishment people are thinking about is a brokered convention with Kasich Rubio ticket or something like that.
Oh yeah, because you know that the establishment does not want Ted Cruz. I mean, there's nobody in the Senate, none of his peers really like this guy. So you know it's not him.
Well, I tell you, there's something just grabs me in the gut when I listen to John Kasich talk. And it's the same feeling I get when I listen to Jeb Bush talk. It's like there's nothing coming out of this guy's mouth that is even close to what reality is. And, you know, I just, he's too nice. He's too nice.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. When you listen to Kasich, the problem that I have is I mean, he's not doing well. He hasn't done well. He's hoping to do well in his own state, but you know what? He may not even take his own state. It's a really close campaign that's going on there. And the thing is he keeps saying that Trump will not be the nominee. Trump will not be the nominee. He will be the nominee. Is there something going on in the background that he's just not finishing that statement with?
Well, that's exactly what's happening. It's being revealed. Like I said, when Mitt Romney, I wasn't sure who they were. I knew when Romney came out a couple of weeks ago that this was a desperation attempt. You let's send out somebody that really has no political ramifications for anything that he does. He's not running for anything. He's not holding any office, but he's got the name. So let's send him out there on point. And we're going to announce that we're basically what Romney did was we're going to take Trump down. That was the announcement. That's what all that speech was about. They waited too long. If they had done this in the beginning, it might have worked. If they had put it out their establishment guy out there, if they had taken Jeb Bush under their wing in the very beginning and said, this is what we're going to do, it might have been, we might be looking at a completely different outcome right now.
Oh, yeah, because they got blindsided. Nobody, and I mean nobody, thought Trump had any staying power, that he even had a chance at all. And I think that what they did is they waited and waited and waited for Trump to implode, and it didn't happen. And every time he made these dramatic mistakes that politicians would generally lose their careers over, he flourished and got more supporters. I think that he is just flabbergasted the establishment because they didn't think he had a chance. They just thought he'd kill himself.
Well, obviously so. I think you hit the mark. That you hit the nail right on the head here. I really think in the beginning the idea or the plan was to coronate Jeb Bush, and Marco would be the vice president because these guys, kind of grew up together, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it didn't work out for either one of them. I think when Rubio went junkyard dog on Trump here a few weeks ago, I think the promise had been made to him by the establishment. You're our guy, and we need you to help take this guy down, and we'll get you through at a broker convention, because Rubio's the one's talking about broker convention all the time.
Yeah.
Now, I'm hearing Kasich starting to mention it, and the fact that I see now Romney out there campaigning for him tells me this is the strategy. The strategy is you're not going to see Rubio or Kasich pull out of this race as long as they have the ability to dilute delegates and keep Trump from getting the majority, or even Cruz. Cruz is not that far away from Trump right now. I think there's Cruz today is at 370 and Trump is at 460. That's
90. That's only 90 delegates apart.
So that's nothing right now. And so, and Rubio is actually campaigning for Kasich in Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvania won't put Kasich on the ballot.
Yeah, can you believe it? You know what? And it was actually suggested that Rubio tell all of his supporters to vote for Kasich in Ohio. Can you believe that? I mean, you talk about suicide. Would you ever tell your supporter to vote for somebody else?
Well, no, it's not suicide if the plan is to get at a broker convention, and these two are the ones that rise to the top of the heap.
True, but I would think that would be the biggest sign of how stupid that Rubio could be if he was going to trust somebody that much. He would really have to trust him to pull a stunt like that.
Well, what is incensing about it? What is really makes me angry about it is that to do something like this, and at this point not really hide what you're doing. Mm-hmm. It's an insult to the voters. What they're basically saying is, you people wouldn't figure out what we're doing if we told you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Hey, John, we got 15 seconds. Why don't you go ahead and give your show information?
Okay, you want to visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, and all our archive shows are there. Bios on the people on our panel. Bob is one of our panel members. Any of the blogs that we're out there writing, Joe and I write, and you can catch up with what we're doing out there in cyberspace. So just go to our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, at your leisure, and it's all there for you. And I appreciate the time today, Bob.
Hey, thank you, John. We'll talk to you on Friday. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Take care. God bless.
All righty. Now, the rest of you folks, stick around. We're going to be back with John Hanson, that little old wine drinker, right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
When they ask who's a fool in the corner crying, I say, a little old wine drinker me.
And now, from the middle of a vineyard somewhere, a man who's never met a grape he couldn't cuddle up to, our resident advanced sommelier, John Hansen.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:02 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 65 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 50 degrees. If you're listening on our global syndicated network and you're in Paris, France, well, it's 39 degrees and clear. And if you're in Rome, Italy, it's 48 degrees and clear. And you know what? If you're just sitting in the comfort of your living room with a glass of wine in your hand and maybe an hors d'oeuvre in the other hand, then you come to the right place, because we're right here with my good buddy, John Hansen. Hey, John, how you doing, buddy?
Great, Bob. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing super. Listen, went out for a nice dinner last night with a guy that I went to high school with, him and his wife. Marlene and I went over to Kabuki. Are you familiar with Kabuki?
Yes,
Yeah.
I am.
They've got the most miserable wine list in the world, but they got pretty good food.
The food's good. Yes, it is. Yeah.
I was looking at their wine list, and they didn't have many choices, and I thought, well, I'll get a Sauvignon Blanc from Marlene. I didn't recognize the maker, but it was from New Zealand, and I'm thinking, well, gosh, the Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand shouldn't be too bad. They're charging a pretty decent price for it. Marlene just wrinkled her nose at it and said, this I'll drink this, but this is not so good.
Well, I think we spoiled Marlene.
Yeah, you can say that again. You can say that again.
Can.
Well, here's the interesting thing. I had that Sauvignon Blanc, and it cost, I think it was like $33 for the bottle. At a Japanese restaurant like that one, which is kind of like a chain thing, it was kind of pricey for. I'm sure that they probably paid $6 for it. In any event, it wasn't near as good as the Charles Smith wines that you clued me into.
I got you hooked on Charles Smith now, don't I?
You do. You know what? I was just dumbfounded at how good that was and economical. I buy a bottle of that and I put money in the bank at the same time.
Yeah, and I probably have ruined you. I know I've cost you so much money.
Oh yeah,
so I figure I'll pay it back and get you some good bargains out there, so you can save some money now.
And boy, you did. That was a really a good tip. So listen, how'd you spend your weekend, my friend?
Well, it was funny because I had kind of the same experience. It was Saturday night, and a gentleman ordered a bottle of Costa Brown. I went to the table, and at Disney, we changed our little name tags, because you got to wear a name tag at Disney, no matter who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And since it's the 60th anniversary, it's this diamond thing, and just about everybody just says Anaheim, California. And I just started talking to this gentleman, and he goes, "Oh, so you're from Anaheim?" I go, "No, I'm from upstate New York." He goes, "Oh, really?" And his wife looks at him and goes, "Well, so is he?" I go, "Really?" I go, "Yeah, I was born in Albany, and I went to, then I moved up to Saratoga Springs with Saratoga Springs High." He goes, "Oh, my God, I think we went to school together."
Oh, you're
and
kidding.
It was funny. Well, he was a couple years younger than me, even though he was all gray. But a couple years younger than me. But one of my best friends was his brother, Steve. We played football together and everything. And, it was just crazy. I mean, you talk about a small world.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, this is amazing. So, he was taking pictures of us together. It was just great. So, hopefully I'm going to get a call from Steve. And I found out he's actually running for Senate as well up there.
Wow.
And, he's into politics and that. And we had a great even just chatting, while he drank his Costa Brown. But Sunday, I want to, say happy birthday to my brother-in-law, Noe Rodriguez. We celebrated his 54th birthday. And Noe. Noe was the gentleman who had that stroke.
Yes.
Yeah. And, it's weird because just to reflect on that evening, we got the call about 2:00 in the morning. We went down there. By the time we saw him, it was like, I don't know, about 4:30 or so. And, his face was drooping. He couldn't talk. It looked pretty bad, and then we went home the next day, went back, and, my God, what a change. And you still see, he wasn't nowhere near 100%, but what a change, And then we saw him about, I want to say about a week after he got out of the hospital. And still, he was a lot better, but, you can still see there was something still going on.
Yeah.
And so we haven't seen him until yesterday when we did his birthday party. My God, he lost 12 pounds, Bob.
Wow. Wow.
What a near-death experience would do for you.
So did he lose the 12 pounds because he just lost his appetite, or because he all of a sudden decided that health was important?
Well, the funny thing, it affected all of us. He started going to the gym. He totally changed his diet. Now, especially certain cultures, Bob, wow. Their diets are horrible. Especially the Latin culture, fried food, cheese, avocado.
Wait a minute, John. Are you saying that's not good for you?
Well, Bob, everything is good for you, but it's moderation. They say chocolate's great for you. That doesn't mean go out and eat 20 candy bars. Coffee's good for you. Don't drink 20 cups of coffee. Wine's one of the best things there is, but don't drink 3 bottles of wine a day. Drink a couple of glasses a day. That's all.
I got to tell you, I tell Maureen, and I don't mean to get you off your story, but I tell Maureen all the time. She says, I'll say, let's get a bottle. She says, a bottle? I said, Maureen, that's only 2 glasses apiece. Oh, okay.
And what usually happens, Marlene drinks 1 and you drink the 3.
That's right. That's the plan. Now, if I could just get some kind of a miracle to get her to drink red wine, that would be perfect.
We've been trying, but still, she loves her Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to get her off that.
Yeah.
But
so continue with your brother-in-law.
Oh yeah, we did a party, but it was more like it was more of a spiritual experience. We all it was a miracle because my gosh, he was supposed to be up in Utah camping, and this is around the beginning of the year in July, January, excuse me. And probably the first responders would probably get there. The earliest they would have got there was 30 minutes. Now, we found out later where the stroke was that he would have been lucky if he was still alive 30 minutes later.
Wow.
Or major problems. But the paramedics was a block and a half down the street from his sister's house in Oceanside. And the hospital they took him to specializes in stroke patients.
Well, he got lucky. He got lucky all the way around, didn't he?
It was a blessing. And where his stroke was, the doctor said it was a miracle that he didn't suffer paralysis or anything. I mean, it was a miracle. So, you know, it was really spiritual. We prayed and everything, but to see how everything has changed. As I said, I didn't see him for, you know, I said we went maybe a week after he got out of the hospital, to see how he was doing, but I haven't seen him since. So we had his birthday party, and as I said, he lost 12 pounds. He looks fit as a fiddle. I mean, the whole family changed their diet. It was great. And Rand and I, we totally changed our diet as well. We still drink wine and everything, but we're making sure we're drinking around 2 glasses a day. I usually cheat once in a while to 3 or 4. But other than that, I get, my job is to drink wine, basically, so it's kind of hard to keep it at that level. So, but
everybody understands the sacrifices that you have to make so that you can give us good tips.
Well, exactly. I'm doing it for the audience out there. I'm sacrificing.
So that's gonna make it tough on you when we have you and Raina over to the house and I fix you a meal and I tell everybody on Monday what you ate.
Well, no, as I said, it's all about moderation. I mean, changing your diet from, eating hamburgers and french fries to eating better stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying people don't go out and enjoy life. I mean, go out and have a nice meal.
Yeah.
I mean, even at Napa Rose, all our food is either natural or organic. The chef uses butter, of course, but I tell you, butter is a hell of a lot better than margarine.
Yeah.
He uses oil. He's really...
Well, John, I don't know where you went because I lost you here somewhere, but basically, all I have is butter in my house. I don't have margarine, not going to have margarine.
No, and it is so much better for you, believe it or not. It is so much better. But, I've always tried to stay healthy, Bob. I always take I take a multivitamin, I take vitamin C, and I used to take fish oil. Yeah. And, when something happens, especially to a family member, you start doing research and everything. And I found this, it's called krill oil, Krill oil. Mm-hmm. And it's basically just like fish oil. I mean, there's a lot more benefits. It has the 2 fats that your heart needs. Mm-hmm. And it's the best thing to prevent stroke and heart attack. But it has so many other benefits that are so much better than fish oil, and I mean it lowers your it lowers your total cholesterol, but especially the LDL, the bad cholesterol. It lowers your triglycerides, which is the fatty the fat that circulates in your blood. Mm-hmm. It increases your HDL, which is the good cholesterol. It absorbs much better than fish oil. There's no adverse health reactions like fish oil could contain parts mercury and so forth.
Well, John, I didn't know this about you. You and I have a lot more in common than what you and I even know about. I take calcium because I'm old and I got to take it for my bones. But I take a multiple vitamin. I also take mega doses of vitamin C, and I don't get sick. And I attribute it to the vitamin C, to be honest with you.
Well, I do too. I and the vitamins and trying to stay healthy. And when everybody gets, as I said, Raina works at a school. And you talk about a petri dish. My God, I mean, kids are. She's getting sick all the time. At least some, and it's a miracle that I'm not sick every week because she's coming down with something every week from all the kids in the school. It's a middle school.
Yeah.
But as I said, doing research, and when I started taking this krill oil, it really, it's a natural inflammatory. So, if you take like ibuprofen, it affects your liver. This doesn't. Mm-hmm. This is all natural as well, and it slows down production of fat in your liver. So it actually helps you lose weight too. So it's kind of like a miracle thing that's out there, but it is the best thing for preventive, to prevent a heart attack or stroke. And as I said, we started doing research and everything, and so now the whole family is doing krill oil.
Well, that along with your 2 glasses plus of wine, red wine a day, ought to keep your heart healthy, wealthy, and wise, right?
Well, hopefully I'll live to be 120 now with the krill oil and the glasses of wine every day.
Well, I think that's absolutely perfect for you.
Oh, yes. But to stay on that topic, Bob, I wanted to talk about a restaurant. Okay. I don't know if you ever heard of the restaurant. It's called 118 Degrees. Have you ever heard of it?
For some reason it sounds familiar. I think I have heard of it.
Well, the chef is Jen Ross, and what it is...
where's it at? Where's it at, John?
Well, it used to be in Costa Mesa. They opened another one in Orange County. The main one is in Tarzana, actually. But the reason why she calls it 118 degrees is because everything's different. Carrots, broccoli, fish, chicken, whatever. But roughly around that temperature is where the food starts to degrade. We start losing all your nutrients and so forth.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you have fresh broccoli and you just cook the crap out of it. There's really no nutritional value from it. You're just eating because it just cooked everything out of it. So at that 118 degrees, so everything at this restaurant is cooked either 118 or under. And it's all natural, organic, and so forth. And it's
but you're talking about vegetables. You're not talking about everything, right? I mean, you can't cook meat at 118 degrees.
Well, sous vide. You sous vide basically in a bag at the low temperature, and it just cooks for longer and longer. There's ways. Yeah, you can cook meat under 118 degrees. It just takes a while to do it. But it's more raw foods.
Yeah.
I mean, that's her thing, where you get all the nutrients out of what you're eating, and that was the philosophy behind her. And the one in Costa Mesa, I think, closed, and which was funny, is that she got a couple of people saying that they contracted food poisoning from her herself. And the thing is, they didn't. And what it was...
Oh, they lied?
Well, no, this is what happens. It's funny. Say if you try to, you start eating healthy, and then you go out and you have like a greasy burger and fries, and you don't feel good afterwards because your body's going, what the hell did you do?
Yeah.
Well, if you're eating greasy burgers and fries all the time, then you start eating this healthy stuff, your body kind of does the same thing. It's like, what is this? Oh, what is this? So it's not that they got sick. They just didn't feel well because your body's not used to this food. But which is the best food you can do? I mean, you get all the nutrients out of food. You really don't have to take vitamins if you eat right, because you get all your nutrients from your food. But when we cook all the nutrients out or whatever, it's you don't get the benefits from it. So it was just something I wanted to brought up, and it's funny because she's getting a lot of press now. From a lot of vegetarians, of course, because most of it's all vegetarian. They have like a pasta dish on there. It's called a sweet basil pasta. And it's not pasta. What it is, it's the small little thin strips of zucchini, which is somewhat firm. But once you mix it with this sweet basil dressing, it becomes more like a pasta and eats like a pasta. But as I said, everything is fresh, organic. You get all the nutrients from it. And, it's just to pay homage to my brother-in-law, start eating a little better. Go out and have a good dinner once in a while. Go have a greasy burger once in the blue moon or so. Enjoy life. You got to enjoy life. But as I said, at 54, we were just happy, and thank God that we were able to celebrate another birthday with Noe.
Well, you know what, and that's what you're celebrating, and you know what, it sounds like it really, really had an effect on you and Raina, and sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it sets up a paranoia that's not good for you. Your diet really wasn't all that bad anyway. It's not like you overate things. You like to try a lot of things, and generally,
I enjoy life. And it's funny because as I said, where I work, I have to try wine. I enjoy, and when I come home, I'm running around, so I'm a type A person. I can't just come home and go to bed. I'll be just staring at the ceiling. I have the TV on, watch a little news, have a glass of wine or so, relax a little bit before I go to bed. And other things I found out sugars you don't want to take before you go to bed. Like a glass of wine. I mean, don't do a sweet wine like a Riesling or so. Mm-hmm. Do a dry wine. I mean, because the alcohol will help you relax and go to bed. But like a margarita has all that sugar in it or something like that.
Yeah. You can't get that sweet stuff. Hey, listen, let's continue this after this break, John. We've got to take a commercial break. We'll be right back with John Hanson, a little old wine drinker, who I never thought I'd see the day that he'd be giving us health tips. Anyway, we'll be right back with John Hanson after these brief messages.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We broadcast on a global syndicated network Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Tell all your friends about it. I'm talking right now to my good buddy John Hanson, that little old wine drinker. And John, I wanted you to talk about sort of like a typical day. You've already explained to us, and you're an advanced sommelier. People have to know that. And you work for the Disney Corporation at the most magnificent restaurant that they have, and that's in Anaheim, California, called the Napa Rose. But, besides having to taste different wines, because you have to be up on all those things, and you have to be able to make suggestions to the clients, the patrons that come in, you also, I'm guessing, because the chef is cooking different things every day, you have to taste what it is he's preparing so that you know how to describe it to the people, right?
Oh, of course. And kudos to Disney, because they understand that, and they understand that for somebody to excel in a field, you have to know what you're talking about. And that's, Michael Jordan was the actually spearhead the sommelier program there and so forth. But
and we ought to say that Michael is now a master sommelier.
Yes, Michael is a master, and I tell you, it's not a blockbuster, but I tell you, if you want to sit back, have a nice glass of wine with your wife or girlfriend or what significant other.
Well, wait a minute, I have to choose between the two.
Bring both, Bob. Be a lot of fun. But you can go on Netflix and there's a movie. It's called SOM. SOM.
Oh, I have seen it. Matter of fact, I bought it and I've got it on my iPad. What a fantastic movie that is! It's not it's more of a documentary than a movie.
It is. It could be dry to some people because you can see the intensity of what you really need to know and what you have to go through to become a master sommelier. That's why there's only just a little over 200 master sommeliers in the world. You figure how many billions of people in the world, there's only just a little over 200 master sommeliers. So it is, they say it is the most difficult test that you can actually take. The bar exam, how many lawyers are out there? It is frustrating. It is humbling. You think you know a lot about something. Go try to take a master sommelier exam. You walk out going, I know nothing about wine.
Oh yeah, what kind of wine is this? What's the vintage? Where's it from?
Bob, you have to know all the soil types. And you have to be on current events as well. What was elevated up to a higher stash? What was downgraded? You have to know everything about every wine in the world. Yeah. And my gosh, we were talking about Italy. You go 6 miles down the street, you have totally different varietals everywhere. It's just crazy.
Oh yeah.
And it is. As I said, to become a master, once you get to the advanced level, which is there's only a couple thousand advanced in the world.
Yeah.
You have to dedicate at least a full year just tasting, studying, tasting, studying, traveling, looking, knowing all that stuff. It is just incredible. And these three gentlemen that are in the movie, what they go through every single night. I remember I was studying for my advance. It was kind of embarrassing because every night I would come home and Raina would have 3 whites and 3 reds as soon as I walked in the door, and I would sit there and I would taste. And she put you have 25 minutes, so she put the timer on 25 minutes, and I would go through all those wines, and she would tell me what they are and how I did. She have a grid in front of her. We have a grid that we go by. Make sure I hit every box, and then what the wines were. And I did that every night for I don't know how many months. It was kind of embarrassing taking the garbage out because you'd be clink, 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 clink down there. People would be looking at me going, what the hell is going on with these people, But, as I said, it is probably the most difficult test you can possibly take. But do watch that movie. It's entertaining. As I said, it's not a blockbuster. There's no action or whatever in it, but you can see what it takes to become a master sommelier.
Oh yeah, and you see that. It is a very interesting movie. If the people listening to us, if they enjoy a glass of wine, or even if they don't want to become an advanced sommelier or be an expert at wine, but if they enjoy a glass of wine and they go to good restaurants and they're relying on the sommelier or the advanced sommelier or the master sommelier, if you're lucky enough to have one where you're at, to make a recommendation for you, you're going to find it really interesting to see what they had to go through to attain those statuses.
Oh, exactly. you will have an appreciation for your sommelier after watching that movie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even somebody who's an aficionado of wine, that loves wine, that maybe wants to become a first level or maybe even just a certified sommelier, go to the Court of Master Sommeliers, go to the website. They have all that information there. As I said, level one, if you know something about wine and you take the course and you really pay close attention and take copious notes, you could easily pass that test. The first level isn't too difficult. And they kind of make it easy for you because it's all multiple choice. It's 100 question test, and it's all multiple choice. And basically, you can always delete 2 out. A question would be like, what is the main red grape in Bordeaux?
You mean not take 2 out, but eliminate 2 of them just by logic, you mean?
Exactly. Yeah. A would be Chardonnay, B would be Viognier, C would be Pinot Noir, and D would be Cabernet. Well, it said the main red grape in Bordeaux, on left bank Bordeaux. It can't be Chardonnay or Viognier. They're white wine grapes, so it has to be either Pinot Noir or Cabernet. So you have a 50-50 chance of getting it right anyway. So the question is a little more tougher than that, but that was just an example.
Sure.
So even if you don't know the question, you can probably nail down to about 2 possible candidates there. So, I mean, it's not an easy test, but it's not a test that's just overwhelming.
So what is that website, quartermaster.com?
Courtofmastersommelier.com. Yeah. And that will give you all information. If you want to take a test, all information on it. It will give a guide of how we taste. They put a guide up there and which lists how to actually taste wine and so forth. There's a lot of good information on that website. And if you are interested, as I said, if you're a big wine geek, hey, maybe I want to be a level 1 or maybe even a certified sommelier. Mm-hmm. The problem is once you get to advanced, it's a lot of time, effort, and as I said, it's a humbling experience. And that's why there's only a couple hundred masters in the world. It is the most difficult test to take.
Yeah.
But we want to continue our venture, Wines of the World.
Oh, okay. What country are we in this week?
Well, we're going to go to Germany. Okay.
Okay.
As I said, when a lot of people go,
so just so you know, we've only got 6 minutes.
Oh shit! We'll go through it quick. I'm sorry, did I say that? We'll go through it very quickly.
Well, you need that. You need that.
Like,
you need that in a
wine, and I have no idea what's on the label of a wine. So we're trying to simplify it for everybody. Let's go. Let's do Germany in 6 minutes. Let's see if we can get it done. Okay. Okay. Germany is the most northern wine region there is. It's up there, so it's cold. All the vineyards, you have these slopes coming down to the water, and all the vineyards are right by the water because it's so cold. You got the reflection of the sun going off the water, and it's so cold, so you need the warmth of the water going through to actually ripen the grapes. In 1971, they did upgrade their laws, or where there's 3 types of wine. You have tapa wine or table wine, which is the lowest quality of wine. You have Landwein, which is like a step above table wines. You have what they call QBAs. I don't even know. It's like 27 letters long, but it's Qualitäts Bernmeister Abaggebiet, which means, which states that it has to be from a certain region. So a QBA will tell you if it's from the Mosel, from the Ahr, from the Rhine, Hessen, wherever. And that also applies to the 4th, which is the highest level, the predicates, which you see on the label. You got Cabernet, Spätlese, Auslese, Beerenauslese, Trockenbeerenauslese, and then ice wines. They're the highest wines there are. Also on the label, you're going to see like Trocken. Trocken means dry, or hot Trocken, which is like medium dry, on the labels. So you kind of get an idea of what the wine is about. Now, Germany, like in California, we have what we call bricks. And that's how much sugar is in wine is picked at this bricks and so forth. Germany has something similar, but it's called Uxler. It's called Uxler scale. Now, here's where it gets a little complicated, especially like in the predicate wines. one producer can be at a certain Uxler for his Spätlese, and it could be the same as somebody else's Auslese. So it gets a little complicated, and we won't get into that because I don't want to confuse anybody on that, because we can spend days on German wines because the laws and everything in German wines are just crazy. But ice wine. Ice wine's the highest and the sweetest, and of course it's only going to be in a little bottle because you have to pick it at least 18 degrees Fahrenheit or colder. Okay, and they press it right there to separate the frozen water from the very sweet juice. Now, you have what they call a Bagabeats. And Bagabeats is like a wine regent, okay, and that applies to the QBAs and the QMPs, the predicate wines, okay. There's 13 Bagabeats, which, of course, are like the R, which actually some red wines come from. You have the Middle Rhine. Moselle River is probably the most popular. The Nahe, Rheingau. You also have Rhine, Hesse in the south, Franken, Baden, Sachsen, and so forth. There are probably about, I'm going to say, close to 40 different grape varietals that are fermented in Germany. But the major ones, of course, are Riesling. Probably the main one is Riesling. But the workhorse is a Muro Thurgau. You have Cervaner, you have Bacchus, you have Gruner Veltliner. I'm sorry, you don't have Gruner. You have Gewürztraminer, you have Muscat. You have Rutelander, which is Pinot Gris. You have Spätburgunder, which is Pinot Noir. Also on the red, you have Dolfender and Blau Portugieser. For the varietal to be on the label, it has to be 85% of that varietal. Now, because it's so cold, and as I mentioned before, that the vines are at this steep angle, people actually have died just falling down. When they prune the vines, they have like tethers that they tie to it so they don't fall down the hill while they're pruning the vines, because it's at this steep angle so that it reflects the most sunlight coming up where the sun hits them up just to ripen the grapes. But since it's so cold, chaptalization is permitted in Germany, of course, where they can actually sweeten the wine because it doesn't ripen enough. And you see a lot of chaptalization. But there's also a sparkling wine, which is called Sec. And the method there is mostly the Coupe Clos or Charmant method. And last week when we were talking about Italy, like Moscato d'Asti and Porchetta d'Acqui, same method where they actually do the second fermentation in a big vat. So it's not as effervescent as the Method Champenois. You don't have the smaller bubbles and a lot of bubbles. It's usually just a little effervescence coming off their sparkling wines.
So, John, are you going to give us a wine of the week from Germany today?
I'm going to give you two. Okay. Let's close the show with two wines. I'm going to give you a wine that is amazing. That's under $20. It's a Zilliken Riesling. It's just their QBA. It's from a little town called Ogden off the Saar River. Just incredible apple, pear. You got incredible minerality in this wine, and of course it's off dry, so it's kind of sweet. For the wine aficionados, for a wine for around double that, you have Dr. Paul Berwager, Bernkasseler Bastu. Now, Bernkasseler, probably one of the most famous vineyards there in Germany, right up the Mosel. Bastu is a bathhouse, and at the top of the hill, there's a little bathhouse on that vineyard, and it's a little plot right by that bathhouse at the top of the hill is where they get the grapes from. And I tell you, it is just an amazing German wine for $40-some a bottle. You really see what incredible Rieslings are from Germany. My favorite grape, you can have Rieslings that are 30 years old and still drinking incredible. It's not tainted with Chardonnay. It goes through a malolactic fermentation. They put oak on it. They do all this stuff with it. Germany is just a pure grape and is one of the most amazing grapes. Rieslings are one of the most amazing grapes out there. I know I rushed through Germany very quick in 6 minutes, but I hope you get some information from it.
Actually, you rushed through Germany very quick in 8 minutes, and now we're really out of time. But John, I look forward to talking to you next Monday, and I'm gonna give you a call. Maybe you and I can get together next Monday. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
All right. You have a good one, my friend, and we'll talk to you soon. Give a hug and a kiss to that lovely wife of yours, and hope she stays healthy.
And you do the same for Marlene.
All right, buddy. Now, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to talk about the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. Don't go away. We got good stuff for you. We'll be right back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:42 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 65 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's on its way down to 49 degrees. Interesting, tomorrow's going to be up in the 80s here. So we've had a real yo-yo of weather going on. Well, if you're listening to us on our syndicated global network and you're in London, England, it's 41 degrees and clear. And in Vienna, Austria, it's 37 degrees and clear. But right now, it's time for our Harvard business tip of the day. And the management tip today is hold people accountable for their work. Sounds normal, right? Well, you know what? We all want to work in an environment where people deliver on their commitments. So what can managers do to foster accountability with employees? The first step is to be crystal clear about what you expect, the outcome that you're looking for, how you'll measure success, and how people should go about achieving an objective. Be sure that the person you're holding accountable actually has the skills and resources that they'll need. If they don't, you're just setting them up for failure. Then agree on weekly milestones with clear, measurable, objective targets. If any of these targets slip, jump on the issue right away. Brainstorm a solution, identify a fix, redesign the schedule, or respond in some other way that gets the person back on track. Give feedback weekly, and remember that it's more important to be helpful than nice. Yeah, it's all about a career. Just remember that. Well, it's time for the daily teaching for your life, and this is all about a positive mental attitude. You hear me talk about it all the time, and today's no different. Here is the teaching for today. When pictures have appeared of something that you do not want, it is your cue to change your thinking and emit a new signal. If it is a world situation, you are not powerless. You have all the power. Focus on everybody being in joy. Focus on abundance of food. Give your powerful thoughts to what is wanted. You have the ability to give so much to the world by emitting feelings of love and well-being despite what is happening around you. It's all about that positive mental attitude. You decide success or failure. You decide rich or poor. You decide happy or sad. Well, you know what today is? Sure you do. Today is Monday. It's March the 14th, and it is somebody's birthday. And oh boy, do we have a good birthday today. Here is somebody, I can't hardly believe that there isn't anyone in the world that doesn't know who this man is. He was born in 1879, widely regarded as one of the most influential scientists and intellectuals of all time. Happy birthday, Albert Einstein. By the way, he died in 1955. And here's a fellow that was born in 1933. He's an actor appearing in more than 100 films and has been nominated for an Academy Award in every decade since the 1960s. Happy birthday, Sir Michael Caine. And finally, born in 1933, music conductor, record producer, music arranger, film composer, television producer, and trumpeter. Happy birthday, Quincy Jones. Yeah. Well, what happened today in history? Do you know? Well, I can tell you. March 14th, 1994. Timeline of Linux development. Linux kernel version 1.0.0 is released. And in 1971, the Rolling Stones leave England for France to escape taxes. Yes, sir. And in 1967, John Fitzgerald Kennedy's body is moved from temporary grave to a permanent memorial at Arlington National Cemetery in Washington, D.C. And then finally, in 1870, California legislature approves an act making the Golden Gate Park possible. That makes sense. Well, I'll tell you what, this quote comes from somebody really, really important and influential. This quote today comes from Charlie Brown. He says, "This is my depressed stance. When you're depressed, it makes a lot of difference how you stand. The worst thing you can do is straighten up and hold your head high, because then you'll start to feel better. If you're going to get any joy out of being depressed, you've got to stand like this. All slumped up. Yeah. Depressed. Yeah. Well, it is time for our interesting but useless facts. Let's start off with Theodore Roosevelt was Eleanor Roosevelt's uncle. Did you know that? How about that? Did you know that cows sweat through their noses? That's a fact. I know that's a fact. I was raised on a dairy. Do you know that until the 18th century, coffee was almost always boiled? Yeah. And it was strong. Well, let's see here. How about this? If you choose a cabbage lettuce leaf properly, you lose more energy than you gain from actually eating it. Isn't that interesting? Did you know that Professor Moriarty was Sherlock Holmes' arch enemy? Sounded funny, but that's what I meant to say. How about this one? Do you know it was the accepted practice in Babylon 4,000 years ago that for a month after the wedding, the bride's father would supply his support. That was it. How about this? Did you know that ornithophobia is the fear of birds? Do you care? I don't know. How about this? Did you know that the fingerprints of a koala bear are indistinguishable to that of a human being? Now that, my friend, is interesting. Let me leave you with this, though. In 1984, a Canadian farmer began renting advertising space on his cows. Now, there's one for you to think about if you have access. Now, don't go away, folks, because when we come back, we're going to answer your emails. The first one's from Abraeth James from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, asking about head of household. And I'm going to tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400 4900, or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And let's get right to it. We're coming down to the wire. Time for me to answer your emails. First one comes from Abrea James. I hope that I'm pronouncing that right, Abrea. He's from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and asking about a head of household. He says, my daughter lives with me, and I've been filing as head of household. She's a full-time student, and I pay more than half her expenses, but she turned 24 during the past year, had $16,500 of income, and took an exemption for herself on her own tax return. Do I still qualify to file as head of household? Well, you know what? You're going to get mad here, Abrea, but the answer to your question is nope. Your daughter no longer is a qualifying child because she was not under the age of 24 at year end, and she is not any other kind of qualifying person because her income is over the personal exemption amount. Now, the fact that she claimed an exemption for herself on her own tax return also bars her from being a qualified person. So, if your daughter's the only person for whom you provide a household, you no longer qualify as head of household status or for that status. I'm sorry. Well, next email comes from Ethan Lee from Bend, Oregon, saying, no salary for a proprietorship? Listen to this. He writes, if I set up a sideline business as a proprietorship, can I set my salary from it at zero so that profits will build up in the business without my paying tax on them? Well, unfortunately, Ethan, the answer to your question is no. A proprietorship does not pay salary to its owner. Instead, all of its income is taxed to its owner, subject to both income tax and self-employment tax. However, setting up a qualified retirement plan for it may let you save all or much of its income tax-free. Now, a solo 401k lets you save the first $15,500, $20,500 if you're 50 years old or older, of business income, plus 20% of net business income. Here's an example for you. Let's just say that you are 50 years old and your sideline makes $25,000. You can save all its income in a solo 401k. Now, here's the alternative. Setting up your new business as a corporation lets you set a salary for yourself. Now, this entails many complications, so consult an expert before you do that. Next email comes from Ryan Moretti from Port Allegheny, Pennsylvania, asking about joint liability, and says, in past years, my husband hid income from the IRS, so I filed separately to avoid being liable for his taxes. Now, he's reporting all his income and wants to file joint returns with me. Will filing jointly with him now make me liable for his back year taxes and penalties for those past years? Well, no, it won't. Joint liability for your spouse's taxes applies only in years for which you file a joint return with your spouse. Now, filing a joint return after a period of filing separate returns does not retroactively create joint liability for the separate return years. However, before filing jointly, be absolutely sure that your husband is not continuing to understate his income. It's the IRS scrutiny of prior years may lead to the current return and ultimately include your items. Any overpayment might then be applied to back taxes, so be careful with that. Well, my last email comes from Hamza Rashid from Amarillo, Texas, asking about deductible medical expenses, and says, my mother lives with me and I claim her as a dependent. Can I include her medical Part D premiums for her prescription drug benefit in my deductible medical expenses? Well, Hamza, yes, you can. Medicare premiums paid under both Part B, which is outpatient insurance, and Part D, which is prescription drug benefits, qualify as deductible medical expenses. Now, normal rules do apply, so you can deduct the medical expenses of a dependent, and your deduction is limited to the amount by which total medical expenses exceed 10% of your adjusted gross income. So hopefully that information will help you. I want to remind everybody that we'd love for you to get our app. It's absolutely free. If you have an Apple product, go to the Apple Store, search Robert Cardoza Live. The app's right there. Download it. It's absolutely free. And if you have a Windows product or an Android product, just go to googleplay.com and do the same search, Robert Cardoza Live. Download the app. It's absolutely free. If we're broadcasting live like we are right now, you'll see a little red flag that says live. If we're not, all of our archives are there. You can just page through them if you want to. And there's a little information icon on the right-hand side. If you hit that, it'll tell you what that show is all about and what's in there. We'd appreciate it if you'd get that app, use that app, and tell your friends all about that app. That's kind of what we'd like you to do. It makes it easier for you to listen to our show, especially if you're on our global syndicated network. People all over the world will get a notice of the show is starting. You won't get hammered. You won't get all kinds of crud and junk. You'll just get good data and good information, and it'll make it easy for you to listen to the show, and I'll appreciate it. So just think of that.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. The real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.